Hey guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back if you are not new here. But if you are new here, my name is Bram. I post videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays all about fashion, shopping, lifestyle, beauty, travel, luxury with a heavy dose of luxury, and all of that fun stuff. So if those are things that interest you, I would love it and appreciate it if you could head down there, right there, to the subscribe button, hit it so that you can follow me and join me on this YouTube journey, become part of my growing YouTube family, all of that fun stuff. And I'm a little bit scattered. So this is probably the 11th or 12th time I have filmed the intro and started to talk because every time that I do, something happens in this house that I have to go take care of or whatever. So we're going to do this again. I'm not stopping for anything at this point. We're just going to keep going. So if you hear the dog, if you hear the cat, if you hear stuff happening in the background, it's just because stuff is happening and I'm trying to ignore it. And that's it. So today's video. First, I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing, and then I'm going to tell you what this video is about. So first thing is first, I'm all of my normal jewelry, bracelets and rings, all the same stuff. As for my necklaces today, they are a little bit different. I am wearing this necklace, which is, I think it's a brand called Kadana. Yeah, maybe Kadana. I don't know. I'm going to link it below. They do these really cute vintage, like inspired vintage Bulgari necklaces with like different stones. So I personally have the blue and the red, and I wear them both a ton. And this one is from the Last Line LA, and they are a fine jewelry company with really decent prices, in my opinion. And they have some really good creative pieces that you won't see everybody with. So I think that they are great. And this sweater is from Farm Rio, and it is like 3 years old, but I will link the website below. Farm Rio is, I mean, I love them personally. They're kind of like a mid price range. They're not the cheapest, they're not the most expensive, but they do have really beautiful, very well-made items. They're a Brazilian brand, I believe. They focus a ton on color and pattern, and everything is like vibrant and beautiful, and we love that. So that is what I have going on today. Now, the video for today, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is how to start a luxury collection without it being basic. So this is all my own opinion, guys. If you love something that I am telling you I don't love, that's okay. I love it that we all have our own style, that we all have our own taste. I don't want to offend anybody here, but I grew up in New York City, and I was there for the first 40 years of my life. And I loved people watching growing up. So before we had phones, before we had all this stuff, I mean, I would literally just sit and people watch. I loved that. I would go to lunch by myself. I would go to dinner by myself. Or, I remember growing up with my parents, we would go and sit, like in the summertime, we'd sit like outside. We'd go to like Little Italy and sit outside and watch people walk by. And I was always I loved people watching. I loved seeing what people were wearing and like everybody with their own style. Now, when I was 40, I moved to Arizona for a few years. And I will say the first thing I thought about when I got there was, God, this is like the Stepford Wives. Everybody was the same. Everybody wore the same things. Everything was the same color. Even the houses had to all be the same color. I mean, it's a beautiful place, don't get me wrong, but it was the most boring scenery in terms of like man-made scenery, like literally fashion and architecture, and just so beyond boring. That was probably one of the things that made me the most miserable over there. not getting into too much else, but I couldn't handle the beigeness anymore. And so now I live in Miami, and I will say that the first thing when I got here, I was like, thank God I am where people look different again. I love looking at people and their own style, their own, they're from a million different places. They look different. Everybody is like just their own vibe. And yes, there are styles and, things that, yes, certain things are in style in certain places, but for the most part, people do what they want, and it's exciting to watch people. I don't have to love what you're wearing or doing or whatever. I don't have to like any of that stuff to appreciate what your style is. A lot of things that I look at that I can appreciate, I wouldn't wear myself. And so this video really comes down to that, is that I'm telling you what I personally would start out with for a luxury collection if I was starting my luxury collection now. And if you don't like it, beautiful. Hopefully I will entertain you a little bit by going through this list. And if not, sorry. Sorry. But so that I just wanted to like tell you that first and foremost. I think it's great when we all have our own thing going on. That's what makes the world an interesting place to be. So I'm going to go through this list with you guys. First things first, I have been a luxury lover and, just bag obsessed since high school, I would say. I have been collecting luxury bags or purchasing luxury bags because I don't think of myself as a collector, although I'm trying to be a collector now. I used to just kind of buy them and then sell them when I wasn't wearing them and move on. I am changing that to be a collector now because I want to hold on to these pieces at this point. But I can tell you that I have been purchasing luxury bags for 26 years. And in my experience, these are the things that I would buy again, or, what I would start with and what I wouldn't. So we're going to be talking about bags and shoes. First thing is the bags. I put it into 3 different categories because these are the 3 categories I think that bags kind of fall into. So if you were to start your collection, you would want to work up or whatever to one in each of these categories, in my opinion. So first thing is first, a tote bag. So I think this is the most useful for most people. Obviously, this is a bag that you can use every day to work. You can use it for, vacation. You can use it as a travel bag. You can use it if you have kids and you need to lug around all their stuff, whatever. So this is the bag that you would use just on like a day-to-day basis. Now, I watch these videos all the time from other creators, and I feel like everybody's kind of giving the same advice on where to start. I disagree with all of it personally. So typically where to start would be a Neverfull or a St. Louis Goyard bag. Now, I have a St. Louis. It's great. It's super lightweight. I like it, but I think that they are just as played out as the Neverfull at this point in time. And that is really all it is. Both of them are very beautiful bags. I'm not taking that away from anybody. Both of them are very useful, but for me, they are so boring to look at. So in place of one of those items, I would personally recommend something like a vintage Chanel. Now, my favorite Chanel era is Karl Lagerfeld, mid-90s vintage Chanel. That is like my favorite. Although I do like many Chanels over the years, but I do like, that is like my favorite time frame. So first thing is first, I would recommend, I love this bag. I have not seen it in person. I have seen some people on here, not even some people, maybe 1 or 2 people actually wearing this bag, whether it was on YouTube or Instagram, I'm not sure, but I think it's an amazing bag. It is the Supermodel tote bag. It is mid-90s. I want to say it comes in both leather and in a patent leather. Patent leather, in my opinion, would be the way to go, especially if you're using it every day, just because it can withstand the rain, the snow. It doesn't matter. It's a workhorse, right? You don't have to worry about vachetta. You don't have to worry about the leather. Patent leather is like just a great all season option, in my opinion. Plus, it makes it a little more fancy than like a regular leather bag. If you are not a patent leather type, then they also have it in regular, regular leather. I don't know if this comes in more colors than just the black. I have only seen the black, and I'm not really a black lover, but I do love this bag. I think it will go with everything. I think it will, just kind of elevate any look to make it like super cool looking instead of just looking like basic. You are going to get noticed with this bag. This bag is incredible. Obviously, it is only available on the resale market, but I will try to link a few below if I can find them. Next one, next option, I think is a great alternative to a Neverfull or a Goyard would be the Coco Cabas. That is, I want to say this is like 2010s era, maybe even a little bit earlier. I don't know when it was originally launched, but that is the time frame that I remember it being the most popular. There are a few different sizes in this bag. There are also a bunch of different colors that you can pick from. There is a denim available if you're not, if you don't want leather. There is like, I think comes in lambskin. I think maybe not lambskin, maybe lambskin. I don't really remember. I'm going to post up a bunch of pictures. I know it comes in the caviar. It comes in brown, it comes in white, I want to say, it comes in black. There are so many different options for this bag, and you can find them at a great price right now on the pre-loved market. I think that that bag is a spectacular option. It's a little more understated than any of the other options. So I think it's good for every day. It's hard wearing. It is a workhorse. You can fit all your stuff into it. It comes with a little pouch inside. That and the Supermodel tote personally would be like my top choices for a tote bag. If you are set on the Neverfull, the only Neverfulls at this point in time that I can get behind are the special, like limited edition Neverfulls. There are a few that I have, like I'm watching that I'm gonna at some point add back into my collection. I've had a few, I've sold them over the years because I wasn't using them or whatever. There are a few that I want to buy back and put back in my collection because they're just amazing pieces. But I mean, you should, go with like the Steven Sprouse Roses edition. There are so many limited edition Neverfulls that just add a little something to your look versus just being in the regular monogram or damier print and like everybody coming and going having the same bag. So that would be my recommendation for the tote bag. For an errands or a casual bag, there's so many options in this category. I think that most people, like most of the videos that I have seen talking about this topic, kind of default to like either an Hermes Evelyn or like a Speedy, a Louis Vuitton Speedy. And those are like the basic kind of starter bags. I don't want to say an Hermes is like a starter bag, but it sort of is. You can buy it on the pre-loved market for like $2,500 to $3,000, depending on color and like all of that stuff. And it is not a quota bag, so you can actually walk in and see if they have one. Usually they say no, but I got mine directly from the store. So you could, it happens. But I think that a lot of it is just sort of boring. Now, do I have these items? Yes, I have Speedies in different prints, and I do have an Evelyn. Yes, but I just wouldn't have it be my first. I find it's a little bit boring when I am like, I don't know what to wear or my outfit is too busy. I might throw it on. But for the most part, I like my bags to have something special going on about them. And I just don't think either one of those are special at this point. And I'm really talking about the Speedy, like in the monogram print or the Abine, whether it's the or the white, doesn't really matter. It is the damier Ebene or the damier Azur. I'm really talking about those. I think that, those are just, we see them all the time. That's all. I think that they're all great bags. Don't get me wrong. I think they're all great bags. I just think that we see them all the time and I'm just kind of over it. So my suggestion would be, if you love the Speedy shape, then go for a Speedy in a limited edition collection. All of the new ones have straps at this point. I think that a better option would be something like maybe an Alma BB just because it has the strap, but it's a little more interesting. You can get it in like a vernis, which is, stands up, in my opinion, to just any weather. You can wear it in the winter, you can wear it in the summer, depending on what color you get. I think it goes with, everything. You can get like a special version of that. I think that they're adorable personally. I also love bum bags. Now, I have been wearing fanny packs since like 96. I have always loved a fanny pack. I had like the North Face ones back then. I had a million different versions. I'm so glad fanny packs are back. I sometimes wear them across. A lot of times I wear the ones that I have like as a real fanny pack because I love it like that, like traditional fanny pack. I love that. I love the one that I have a bunch. The one that I like the most that I would recommend, and yes, it is regular monogram, but it is the high rise bum bag. If you could get a hold of it in the Murakami collection, even better. But for everyday use, this bag to me is a workhorse. I wear it all the time on the weekends when I am running errands, just if I want to be hands free. And most of the times I do want to be hands free. And I just think it dresses up. It doesn't really dress up, but you could kind of dress up. I don't know. I guess you could. It depends on what you consider dressing up. What I consider dressing up, I can wear it with sweatpants, and I can also wear it with like I don't know, fancy sweatpants, whatever I wear. So I do love the high rise bum bag a lot. I love the mini bum bag. Also, my daughter has. I gave mine to her just because I wasn't using it as much. She wears it all the time. I love a bum bag. If you want to get your hands on a beautiful Chanel bum bag, I would even recommend that even more. I have my eye on a few different Chanel bum bags, but I think this allows you to kind of dress it up a little bit more, but it's still a bum bag. It's still super like casual and functional. And the other bag that I would recommend would be either, now I think that they're kind of going away. We're kind of falling out of love with them. I think I'm not, but I think as a whole, like it's sort of, I see the prices kind of going down on the secondhand market. I love the Chanel 19. I have a denim version that is like a weekend bag through and through. If I'm dressing up a little bit, it is such an easy bag. I wear it crossbody in the medium size and it goes with everything. I have a few Chanel 19s. I love the large and the medium size. I think both of them they're, they're not basic. You can get them in some fun prints. I said I have the denim, I have the tweed. I used to have a jumbo in the leather, but that one was really big, so I don't recommend that one necessarily. But I think it's such an easy bag that can be worn crossbody, it can be worn top handle, it can be worn as a long shoulder bag. There's so many options with that bag, and it's so comfortable and practical. And I think the boy bag is going to be coming back in. I actually have not had a boy bag ever, and I'm looking to add one into my collection in a fun color, but I think that is another one that is like super cute. It is not so, it's not like so stuffy like a regular Chanel bag. It can be definitely used casually running errands. If you get it in like a caviar leather, it is definitely, it's a strong material. You can kind of knock it around, wear it all the time. It wears well. I know people that have them. They wear spectacularly. So that would be my other recommendation instead of going with like just a regular old Speedy or like an Evelyn or something like that. Next category is the evening bag. So I want to say that the default in this category is a wallet on chain. Everybody recommends a wallet on chain in like black caviar with gold or silver hardware. I am not a fan of the wallet on chain at all. Personally, I think it is super, super, super boring and basic. Now, they do have some fun colors, yes, but other than that, I just think super basic. It's so boring to me. I would go with something a little more fun. I would probably go with either a saddle bag. So I would either go with like a Dior saddle bag in whatever iteration you love it in. I personally have it in the monogram, the oblique pattern. I absolutely, that's probably my most worn bag so far this year. I love that bag so much because it looks denim-y. It goes with absolutely everything, no matter what color I'm wearing. I wear it to dress up, I wear it to dress down. I don't care. The Dior Saddlebag, however, comes in so many different options that you can find. Like if you want a little more fancy, like a fancier option, you can go with like a leather version in like they have a beautiful like nude, like ballerine kind of color. They have beaded options. They have like cooler options like the Rasta bag. They have the ever elusive and expensive newspaper print. There are so many different options, whether it's vintage or like new edition. I think that it is such a great bag that can be worn in so many different ways in your collection. And whether it's just for evening or it's for, you know, daily or it's for weekend and casual, I think that either way it looks great. You will get so much use out of that if you don't carry too many things with you. If you are a person who brings everything out with you, I would not recommend this bag for like an everyday type of thing. But if you're the type of person like me who literally just needs my wallet, my keys, and a lip gloss and like a hand sanitizer, it is the perfect size and bag. Next, I would also recommend the baguette. I think that everybody should have a Fendi baguette in their, if they are a true luxury designer bag lover, the baguette bag is absolutely like a no-brainer to add to your collection. It comes in absolutely every different color under the sun. There's so many different designs of this bag. I have two of them. I have a gold leather version with like a rhinestone buckle, and I have the Purple Rain, like Sex in the City version, the new edition. I think that you can get this bag in any design, and it will be useful for evening. It will be useful for weekends. It's good for casual. It's good for a day of shopping. It is good for absolutely everything. Again, obviously, you have to kind of, you know, bring a little bit less than like your everyday bag. But if you are okay, again, with not carrying like everything in the kitchen sink with you, then this bag is absolutely beautiful. There's so many different options. You know, I'm obsessed with a few people on Instagram who only collect the baguette, and they have such incredible collections. And I'm like, you know, like drooling. There are so many different options. So this would be my suggestion in terms of an evening slash casual bag that you can literally cross over and yeah, get a ton of use out of. And but it's like stunning. And if you get kind of a little bit of a different option in terms of design, you are most likely not going to see this bag coming and going. Like I almost guarantee it. I do see other people with Fendi bags out there in the world. Usually it is the regular Zucca Fendi print, and it is usually not necessarily like the beaded versions or like the really fun rhinestone versions. That's not what I see out there in the wild. On Instagram and on YouTube, yes, we definitely see more, but like in the wild, people who have the same things as you, I think it's very rare when you're choosing items like this to actually run into people who have the same items as you. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. Next, let's talk about shoes. So again, with shoes, I have four different categories for shoes. We have work shoes, sneakers, dress up shoes, and like slides or like casual type of shoes that are not sneakers. So for work shoes, again, the way that I like to do things at this point in my life is if it's something that I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of, I'd rather spend the money on something that I'm going to wear a lot versus something that I am not going to wear very often. So if you're starting a luxury collection, I would more lean towards purchasing work shoes or like casual shoes versus like dress up shoes, unless your life is all about like galas and I don't know, going out fancy and you wear heels all the time, then that's a different story. But if you are like me and don't dress up very often and don't go places where you need to wear heels very often, cat hair, sorry, then I would recommend going with something that you can actually get use out of. So For some work shoes, I would suggest going with like a Chanel loafer, like a nice classic Chanel loafer. They're timeless, so you can literally wear them all the time. They will not ever really look dated, in my opinion. I would do them in like a fun color. So I have this loafer in like an olive color that is absolutely beautiful. I used to have them in a gray color, which is also gorgeous. I now, yes, if your thing is black, do black. I personally like fun colors. So I would do something that is neutral to my collection. Olive in my collection is neutral, and gray in my collection is neutral. I could also do like a tan color. That would be like a neutral in my collection. With my wardrobe, I could like, for example, if I was wearing this sweater to work, I could wear it with the gray Chanel loafers for sure. That would match. I could wear them with a white pair. I could wear them with, a navy blue pair. So I would get something that goes with, the majority of your wardrobe. But I personally wouldn't get black. That's all. Unless you think you're going to mess them up, unless you live in a climate, or, you live, I don't know, like if you live in the city and you're going to be like traveling, for example, you're on the train and, you know that your shoes kind of take a beating, then maybe you get a black at that point, or like a dark gray or something like that, something that's going to wear well. But if you get in the car to go to work and you're not, I don't know, like like your shoes are kind of protected from the elements, then I would personally go with like just a more fun color to kind of like jazz up an outfit. Next is sneakers. So I was thinking about this one. I personally, I feel like I have to say, I don't know what the majority of people are wearing in terms of sneakers now. A few years ago, everybody had the Gucci Aces and everybody had like the Louis Vuitton. I don't remember what they were called. I had a pair. They were just like, I will pop up a picture if I can find one. They were just like the basic low profile monogram sneakers. I find them a little bit boring, to be honest. The sneakers that I personally would go with would be either a great pair of like the Louis Vuitton trainers. I've heard that they're very comfortable. I tried on a pair that were a little too big for me, and so I don't know, but they seemed comfortable. I would get them in a fun color personally, but that's just me. If you can find it. I mean, I'm talking about like the Murakami collection. If you can get your hands on a pair of those, I missed it by like seconds. Or yeah, they come out with fun colors in the trainers. So you can definitely find something that's like not as basic with those. The ones that come to mind though, that I know are like available in store right now would be the Gucci sneakers. I don't know the name. I'm going to pop up a picture with the stones all over them. They will go with everything, in my opinion. They're absolutely beautiful. I mean, I personally, Gucci is my favorite brand for shoes. I think that I have the most Gucci shoes of all designers, I want to say, in my collection, and the most like different types of shoes. Like I have all different types of Gucci shoes. And I find them to be exceptionally comfortable and hard wearing. And I know that Gucci stands behind their products. So I think that that's like a great, that would be the way that I would go, would be the Gucci sneakers with the rhinestones. Next, dress up. I don't love I don't love this category at all. I think that if you're going to dress up, honestly, you're better off getting a pair of like Steve Madden heels, or like something from like a cheaper brand. Personally, that would be my suggestion. I don't get any use out of the heels that I have. However, this is a luxury, you know, this is a luxury list. So I will give you some of my, my thoughts if you had to choose. You know what I'm saying? Now, if money is no object, you get what you want, beautiful. But if you're a normal person who has, a budget and whatever, I would put that money into something that you can get use out of and enjoy. However, if you are hell bent on getting a pair of fancy designer shoes, then my suggestion would be go with this is where I would say go with a basic pair. I don't want to call them basic because they're not really basic, but this is where I would go with something that, you don't have to have a bunch of them in your collection. You literally can have one pair of beautiful designer heels and wear them with anything and everything. Every time that you go out, you can wear these shoes. I personally would go with like a Hangisi, like the Manolos, in a fun color. I have them in green. They are very comfortable. Coming from a person that hates heels, they're very comfortable. So I would probably go with that. I would do a fun color. Like I said, I have emerald green, which I think are beautiful. I also love them in the blue. They have a bazillion different colors, so you can get any color that you are thinking of, you can get. They also have them in a flat version. I would personally recommend that just because I hate heels, but if you love heels, then go with the fancy version. I mean, if you love heels, then go with the heel version, not the fancy version, the heel version. But I like the fact that they have flats so that if you can't wear heels, the flats are still beautiful for going out or to a wedding or to a function or whatever, and you're still fancy even though you're wearing flats. So I would go with that. But my inclination would be I would get just an inexpensive pair of heels, especially if it's going to be something that I'm just going to wear once or twice. The last category I have for the shoes would be like a slide, or I guess like a casual shoe. Let's say that you're going out to brunch or you're going to the mall and you don't want to wear sneakers, you want to dress up a little bit, but you don't want to wear, you know, sneakers, but you don't want to wear something fancy. I would go with, this is kind of like that in between sort of space where it's not too casual, but it's not fancy. I personally, I mean, I have a million, this is my category. My favorite shoes from this category would probably be like closed toe. If I'm going to go with closed toe, I would do like a Princetown Mule. I think that the Gucci Princetown is a classic at this point, but they come in so many fun versions. I have 3 versions of the Princetown. I have a fur version, which I absolutely don't wear in Miami, but I wear them when I go to New York. I have a version from like the very first drop with like a patch on the front. It's like a roses patch. I've had them resold like 3 times. I still love them. They're amazing. They're so comfortable. And I have a newer version with like the rhinestones on it. That's my favorite version. I think those are spectacular. There are so many versions of the Princetown that you can get. They come out every year. You will definitely be able to find one that you love. I think it looks great with jeans. I think it looks great with slacks. It looks good with dresses. It looks good with everything, in my opinion. And they don't look like you're trying too hard. You know what I mean? I also love, like, if we're going to go with sandals, I still love the Dior slides, the D-Way slides. I know that I think they're like a little played out at this point, but to me, they make your feet look incredible. They're super comfortable. They make everybody's toes look really cute. And it's just kind of like where it hits on your foot. It just is like the cutest, most perfect slide sandal, in my opinion. I also like Chanel. I feel like you have to be careful with. You have to go into the store and try them on, because in my experience, some Chanel like sandals are cut really weird and they just don't make your feet look very cute. But I think like an easy slide in general is the way to go, whether it's like the D-Way or it's a Chanel slide or something else. I have a bunch of Louis Vuitton slides as well. This is my category. I love a slide. The slides that I personally would stay away from are the Hermes Orans. I have a bunch of them. I find them very comfortable, although they are a bit wide. I have a thin foot, and I feel like you kind of have to get used to how you walk in them. I've heard that people find them very uncomfortable. I do not. I find them comfortable, but I do think that they are bordering, like they're kind of hugging that basic line at this point. If you're going to get them in some fun colors. I have them in like a green, a blue, a orange, a pink. I have them in a whole bunch of fun colors. That's personally the way that I would go. Yeah, is I would go with the fun colors just because, you know, if you love that style, then I would go with the fun colors. I wouldn't go with like your basic. I feel like everybody's like first designer sandal is the Oran, and it's always in that gold color or the black or the white. Now, while I think that they're beautiful, I just think that they've been done. They're not exciting to look at anymore, and I would go with something different. So D-Way all the way, in my opinion, would be my first pick. Like I said, I also think that they're played out a little bit, but I think that they are classic at this point. They've been out for years, and they always have them in fun new prints. I have them in a bunch of colors, a bunch of prints, and I think that they're the most fun. I would get them personally in like either a gray or a navy, and maybe with like the fun design on the sole, something like that. So that is it, guys. That is my list. If you are still hanging out here listening to everything I had to say, I appreciate you so much. And if you are not subscribed yet, why not? Make my day. Subscribe. It's so free for you, so completely free, but it is worth everything to me. I would appreciate it so much. So if you liked this video, I know I talked your ear off. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I would like to know in the comments what you guys are, you know, what would you recommend as a first luxury bag, or what was your first luxury bag? And would you rebuy that bag? Would you, you know, was that a good decision, or do you wish that you had chosen something different? Like what, you know, what do you think about that? What would you recommend to somebody if they were asking you, you know, what they should do? And that's it, guys. I'm surprised that the animals kept quiet this whole time. I wonder if, you know, it's kind of like kids when your kids are little and you're like, okay, what exactly were you doing that you were so quiet? Like, why is there no noise? That's what I'm wondering. I'm hoping I'm not going to go into the other room and it's going to be a freaking disaster. I guess we'll see. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you again for watching. And I am going to put another video here. If you haven't already seen it, if you're not done with me yet, I would love it if you would keep watching. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.